Hey everybody, it's Attorney McClendon, and I wanted to talk to y'all about something related to heirs property that I'm hoping that when everybody gets an understanding of this, we'll see a lot fewer fights when it comes to family property, when it comes to heirs property, and that is the issue of communication. A lot of times when I'm working with families, there's an issue that's arisen. The family may be fighting over family property. They may feel like certain family members are trying to take something from them, or that they're trying to do them wrong, leave them out of something. And really, what's at stake is that the family has not been in good communication about the family property. I have been working with families concerning heirs property now for about 10 years. I think January will be my 10th year working with families concerning heirs property. In fact, I found a video that I participated in 8 years ago where I was talking about heirs property and how it works. So I'm gonna have to share that a little bit later. But I've been doing this for about 10 years now. And at this point, I have seen it all. And what I really want people to know is that most of the stuff that I've seen is the same thing happening with case after case after case. Most of the times people think that their family situation is unique, and it's not. It's happening in every other family where there's heirs property involved. And what I have seen is a trend where there's a family member who is appearing to be holding back from the other family members. They may appear to not be cooperating. They may appear to be being unreasonable. And really what's the issue is that there has not been communication. Sometimes family members assume that other family members should know or should have done something. And that should, you can't should on people. That's the first time saying that. But you shouldn't be shoulding all the time. Like, we really have to talk about what's going on, because you might assume that someone should know something, and then when you actually talk to them, you realize they just don't. And can we really hold people accountable for things that they just don't know? So when it comes to family property, communication is so critical. If you feel like one of your family members is holding back on you or doing something wrong, keeping property away from you or misusing property, why don't you have a conversation with them about it? And when I say have a conversation, you have to go into that conversation with an open mind and an open heart. You can't go in there assuming that you know exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it, and they're not gonna do you like that, and you gonna get a lawyer. Like, you have to go into that family conversation just humble. Really, I think we have to go into it humble, because there's a lot of stuff that comes up with family property. You have the issue of the family who lives on the property versus the family who doesn't. The family who lives on the property feel like the family who doesn't live on it shouldn't have a say, because they don't live on it and they don't really have a connection to the property. So why are you trying to tell me how to use it, and I'm the only person who actually shows an interest in the property? So that's the person on the property's perspective. The person off the property's perspective is, you living somewhere rent free. When I live somewhere, I have to pay rent or I have to pay a mortgage. So how do you get to live on our family property without paying rent to the rest of us? You're basically living on our property without paying us for it. And those are two understandable perspectives. But if you look at it from that family member's perspective, you might see it a little bit differently. A lot of times we're coming into situations looking at it from our own perspective, and we haven't even bothered to take a moment to ask the person a question like, hey, I know that you're living on this family property, and I really don't mind that you do that. I'm happy that someone in the family is actually living on the property, but I would like to be able to benefit from this financially. This is a family asset, and I believe that we all should be able to benefit. So I'm wanting to come to you to see if we can work out some kind of an arrangement where you contribute to be able to live here, and we allow you to continue to live here. And sometimes I understand that's not going to go as smoothly as I made it out to be, but then that may be when you would bring in a lawyer. But I do encourage you first to try to have that family conversation. And sometimes when it comes to family, things may not always be perfectly fair. I'm not saying to just give away your rights. I'm not saying that if you have this valuable asset and this family member is sitting on it and not contributing financially, that you just gotta like let them do that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that sometimes you might say, you know, this family member is elderly and they really don't have the means to go anywhere else. Is there a way we can allow them to stay here while still being able to benefit financially from the property? So it might be that you say for that family member, we're going to segment off this part of the land for you to live on, but the rest of it, we're going to lease it to a farmer. The rest of it, we're going to grow trees on it. The rest of it, even in some cases, people might decide they want to put like solar panels on the property. That's you have to kind of talk through that because sometimes that could cause some health concerns with the people living there. But there are ways that you can work this out so that, hey, yes, you can live there, but we do need to use the rest of the property to make money so that we all can benefit from the property. I'm not saying that's the solution for your family. Your family's solution might be different, but I am encouraging you to talk about it instead of just assuming that you know what's in that other person's mind. There are users and abusers. There are freeloaders in the world, but sometimes there might be something else going on that as a family you can come together and work it out. Because I can almost guarantee, I can't say I can guarantee it in all situations, but I can almost guarantee that the ancestor who left you that property probably saw it as a place where they wanted to have available for family when they need to have a place to stay. They want to make sure that no family member is homeless, no family member is without a place to go. And so a lot of times ancestors have left the property hoping that the other family members will see that it's a family property. Now, on the flip side, to speak to the person who might be living on the property and using it without compensating the family, I would say in that case, think about ways that you can contribute. It might be that you make sure that the taxes are paid and you make sure that the property has proper insurance, you make sure that it's maintained, or it might be that you pay the family a reasonable rent. We have to be fair again. We have to not just look at it from our own perspective, but look at it from the family's perspective. We have an asset that could be used to generate income, that could be helping me to improve my circumstances, but then my family member is living on it rent-free and not giving us anything. Think about what would happen if the property were sold, because heirs might have a right to force a sale of the property. Where would you go then? You might want to consider securing your right to live in the property by working with your family to make sure that you are contributing your fair share for you being able to live there. Just something to think about. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do. This is not legal advice for anybody. I'm a lawyer, but I'm licensed in the state of Georgia, and I have not been retained to hire any of you unless you're one of my clients, and we have our agreement separately. But I'm just a YouTube lawyer for all intents and purposes. And for that purpose, I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm just telling you this thing don't want me to have no light. I just might have to do it out light. But that's all I wanted to say there. I actually came into this video with another thing in mind, and I'm trying to see if I can loop it in here. What I will say is that a lot of times I have found that when family members actually talk about what they want to accomplish and allow for there being multiple ways of approaching a situation outside of what a particular person thinks has to happen, a lot of times family members come to some surprising solutions, and a lot of times those solutions are way better than any one person would have come up with. I love when I can hear a happy story with my families who are working together to create a solution that everyone can benefit from. And a lot of times the thing that kept people from working together, that kept them at odds with each other, when the family looked at it from a different angle, they were able to come to a resolution that everybody was in agreement with. So I want you to give your family the benefit of the doubt. I want you to assume, not to your detriment, but assume for the sake of having a family conversation, that your family member is not out to get you. Sometimes they are. I've represented some family members where it seemed like their family is out to get them and didn't care about them when they made decisions. That happens. But I'm going to suggest you assume initially that your family loves you and that they want what's best for you, and that if you come together to the table, you might be able to work something out that benefits everybody. This is going to be continued because this is a conversation that is going to have many aspects to it, but I just wanted to put this out there. I'm hungry now. It's time for me to get a late lunch. Y'all have an amazing day. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have not already, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, share it with a friend. Y'all take care.